Welcome to the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the almighty LIV, the money man Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative Eddy Kool. The Sports Bros Podcast, by the fan, for the fan, talking sports just the way you like it. And without any further ado, let's give it up for the Sports Bros. It is Wednesday, and you know what that means. It is time for another episode of your favorite sports podcast, none other than the Sports Bros Podcast. I go by the name of Eddy Kool, a.k.a. the HOC. I should have wiped my face because my forehead is super shiny, but that's okay, though. I got this big forehead because there's a lot of big old brains in here, and LIV, shut up, right? And before I go any further, I have two of the best co-hosts in the world. Introducing the bell poker himself, the almighty LIV.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? I'm gonna go ahead and say this before this podcast airs on Wednesday because there's definitely a basketball game going on tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and get this out of the way. On behalf of all three of us, we apologize to the Miami Heat. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there before we even get into the conversation. We apologize ahead of time for our episode last week. We was off the rails last week. And our premature situation where all three of us picked the Boston Celtics to win. We apologize. We are sorry. And we're going to do a lot better this week on keeping it PG. And then go ahead and introduce the other guy because he has a face for radio, but we do video this. So that almost makes it PG-13 because it's a horror flick. All right, let's go ahead and bring in the other guy.
Look at his face. Oh man, this is definitely going on YouTube. And he is the other guy. He is the pride of Washington, Pennsylvania. He is pound for pound the best lunch person in all the Trinity School District and all of Washington County. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the one, the only, the money man, Scottie D. That was a hell of an intro.
Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, sports bros, welcome to baseball season. It is now baseball season.
You shot right past it.
Let's talk about the Buccos and the Yankees, shall we? Let's just get right on into baseball. It is baseball season.
Wrong.
Listen, I can't apologize for not picking the Miami Heat because I didn't know that Jimmy Butler was Michael Jordan's son. I'm just now getting this information. Had I known that, I'd have picked him a long time ago. But had I known, listen, Miami had to win a play-in game, two of them, I think, just to get in. And Boston has at times looked great. So I'm not apologizing. I'm not apologizing for any of my picks.
Of course, once again, stubbornness. I apologize on behalf of all three of us because we pretty much got that pick wrong. And when this publishes, it could easily be another sweep. So
Eddy Kool, take us to the top of the order so I can give LIV a big fat compliment to start the show.
Oh boy, enough of this.
Go ahead. I'm gonna sit back. I'm going to sit back. Go ahead and bring this in because I'm ready for this. I said I wasn't even gonna cuss on this episode, but I feel like I'm about to cuss already. Go ahead.
I'm using the dump button this week. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for bearing with us through our profanity-laced episode. We apologize, and we'll try our best not to do it again. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop right into it. The top of the order. All right, let's get this thing started. Here it is, the top of the order. It's a sweepity-sweep McSweeperstein as the Nuggets sweep the Lakers. I thought the Lakers was going to take one at home, but Jokic, Murray, Gordon, adjustments, they made it happen. B-Live, what say you?
No, I ain't saying nothing. I want to hear this big old fat compliment that Scottie D has. I want to go ahead and let's get this out the way.
Okay.
Let's see what he has to say. I'm curious. I'm very curious to see what he has to say to start off this show.
Well,
what's on your mind, dog? What's on your mind?
Eddie Kool, you and I both said Lakers in 6.
We did.
And a couple weeks ago, before we even got into these series, B-Live said the Nuggets are going to take it all.
He did.
He predicted it. So you did it. You picked it. You're right. I mean, somehow you were able to say that team's number 1. So I think they're probably going to be the team that's going to win. You picked the team with the best record. We weren't smart enough to do that. So you were. So there you have it. I have to give you a compliment for picking the team that's going to the finals. And this team will probably win the finals, and they probably will win the finals next year because this is a team that's just getting started. They're good. They're young. They have really skilled positions. And as good as the Joker is, I think Jamal Murray is that much more important because when the Joker goes into his little lapses, which he does from time to time, Murray shoots shots. Well, they both do. I say they have no business making, and they just go in. In game 4, the Lakers had tied the game up. They had blown the big lead. They tied the game up with 50, just under a minute, 50-some seconds, and the Joker took the ball right to the hoop, right by Anthony Davis, said, I'm not going to be denied. He didn't shoot one of those lucky three-pointers. He had a couple of those during the series where he was under duress and just threw it up and it went in. This was not that. This was him saying, I'm not going to be denied right now. And he went to the basket and he scored on the Lakers. And the Lakers had 2 opportunities to tie that game or take the lead and didn't convert on either one of them. One, I'm not sure what happened. LeBron kind of dribbled out the clock and then they tried to pass and it ended up tipped out. They had 3 seconds on the shot clock. That didn't work out. And then after stopping Murray, they got a rebound with 4 seconds. And the play that they came up with was LeBron dribbling to his weak hand against 3 guys while the rest of the team watched him. And obviously that didn't work out either. B-Live, I told you I didn't watch a whole lot of basketball this past season. You probably did. You did nail the Nuggets on that because they have looked good. I need to be shown before I'm going to believe. That's why I went Warriors at the beginning. That's why I went Lakers. That's why I went Milwaukee and Boston. Because I wanted to be, I needed to be shown teams that can get to the finals and play well. And I wasn't buying Denver as a serious, deep playoff threat until I saw it. And now I'm a believer because obviously I'm telling you I could see them winning the next 2 titles. They haven't even won one yet, but that's how good this team is because they have a good core of players. And Caldwell Pope was an average Laker. And he was making big shots in this series. And Gordon couldn't make anything the whole series. And he comes up with like 3 consecutive 3-pointers in the 4th game. There was always somebody for them that stepped up. That didn't happen with the Lakers. The Lakers had a 15-point lead at halftime. And every one of these games was close. It's not like Denver came out and ran the Lakers off the floor. Every game was a game that the Lakers, a play here and play there, could have won. They could have swept 4-0 because they were that close in every game. But in this game, the final game, the one that could be LeBron's last playoff game, if the rumors are true, this is the one where LeBron ran out of gas at halftime and in the 3rd quarter did not take a break. He played the whole 3rd quarter. And that's when you need your superstar Anthony Davis to step up. And I think he had 2 points in the 3rd quarter. The whole team was missing shots at the rim. They were missing 5-foot, 4-foot layups. And in every game, LeBron seemed to have run out of gas in the 4th quarter, every game. Now, the first 2 you could say, well, maybe he's not used to playing in that Denver air. Things are a little bit different up at elevation. It also could just be that he's 38. He's hurt. He's playing through. He's doesn't have, I was frustrated. I wanted to see him drive the ball more, not shoot threes. Maybe he didn't have it in him to do that every time. I don't know, whatever. I mean, he's 38 and with a lot of miles on the leg. And the Lakers have been playing with urgency with about 10 games, 12 games to go. They didn't have time to blow somebody out or rest, take load management games. They had to win everything just to get into the playoffs. And the Nuggets, they looked younger, fresher, better. They were the better team. They just B-Lab, they were better. So there's your compliment. You nailed that one.
I appreciate that, Scottie D, because I know how tough that was on you, because I know you as a person, as a human being, and I know how much you like to pour hate and shade on anything that I do, especially when I'm right, which is a lot, which you will never admit. But here's the thing. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. Of course, I had my doubts about the Nuggets as well. I watched a little bit more basketball this year, but not as much. Like I'm the type of person where you really don't get me watching like the first half of these long seasons. The first half of the season, I really don't watch. Up to the All-Star break, yeah. I mean, Christmas maybe, but pretty much up into the All-Star break, I don't watch or follow that much. I just look at the records. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I saw some things, Memphis, Sacramento. I was like, okay, they look good young teams. All right, they're up there. Then I start watching a little bit more and more of them. I'm like, all right. Because I had high hopes and beliefs for Memphis and Sacramento. Still, you got to get to the prove-it season, which is the playoffs, which it always will be. The playoffs is the prove-it season. You can do a lot of things in the regular season. It don't mean a bit of difference until you get into the playoffs. You got 7-game series, home, away, home, away, home, or away, home. Whichever way it goes, it's just a different breed of basketball. You don't get the calls you get in the regular season. You don't get defense is locked down a little bit. You notice throughout majority of the postseason, scores haven't been as high as they were in the regular season. And you can look at that pretty much across the board because defenses tighten up. And on top of that, you're studying one team for 4 to 7 games. You've watched film on top of film. So, of course, you see certain tendencies. So, regular season, postseason, 2 entirely different things. It's very tough to predict. The Lakers were the 13th seed a while ago, and they made it to Western Conference Finals. The Miami Heat lost their first play-in game to the Atlanta Hawks at home. The Heat were at home, lost the Atlanta Hawks, and then won to get into the 8th seed, and now they're 1 win away from being in the finals. So regular season be damned. Daggone it, I tried it. My bad. That's the only one. That's the only one. I'm back. I'm here. The reason I want to say all of that, my confidence in Denver came from when I saw that first playoff series. It wasn't their regular season. It wasn't their record. It was when I started to see, because I believe they swept their first or if it was 4-1, and they faced the who's the 8th seed?
Was it Minnesota?
Yeah, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Yeah, which again that didn't really tell me much then, because I just knew that the Nuggets were better than that Minnesota team. That was just a mess to start with. But watching them there, I was like, oh, this is going to be this. Watch out for these Denver Nuggets, because Jamal Murray playing at the level he was, KCP. Hey, some things fit, some things don't. But that's where my confidence came from. It wasn't really just like, oh, the regular season. No, it was from seeing that. And I was like, I don't see a weakness with this team. And I'm like, and I'm also like the antithesis when it comes to like what everybody, all the hype and everything. Everybody's saying Golden State. Everybody's saying LA. Everybody's saying Boston. Everybody's saying Milwaukee. I don't like picking what everybody else picks. I like to be that off the wall thing, because I like to be, when I'm right, I like to be the only person that's right in the room. I like to be going against the grain. So that's part of it. But when I'm right, I can always back up exactly why I actually picked this team. Milwaukee, I was just wrong. I don't know what
you're all wrong on them, man.
I don't know what to tell you about this Miami Heat team. Like, I just don't. To be watching them right now, up 3-0, I don't even know what to say about them.
Yeah.
Did Boston just stop playing? Like, on paper, Boston is still the better team, but they like Miami is the lockdown defense. And I'm gonna go ahead and say this right here, that They're starting to gain a little steam. Spoelstra, Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame coach, Eric Spoelstra for the Miami Heat.
I think that's probably. I mean, I don't think there's an argument there. He already has bundled up a couple of titles, another trip to the finals, piled up regular season wins, longevity. Yeah, I'd say he's probably the best coach in the NBA right now.
Yeah,
I mean, if I don't know you'd rank over him, maybe Kerr. But that list, that's a short list. Popovich, maybe that's a really short list of people. If there's anybody ahead of him,
active coaches, Popovich, of course. Steve Kerr, I'm starting to doubt him. I'm like, because there was a lot of missteps by Steve Kerr and the Warriors when they were facing the Lakers. There were a lot of missteps. Time management for one of them, but that's a whole nother story within itself. But I want to give Eric Spoelstra his flowers, his props, because he's taken a team of essentially nobodies, like undrafted players that are not players that were drafted low in the draft, undrafted players. He's and him and Pat Riley have put together something magical. Of course, Pat Riley's in the Hall of Fame. That goes without saying. Pat Riley's done it on every level of the game, playing, coaching, and now as an executive. You got the perfect storm in Miami, and how do you even looking at this team? How can on paper they should not be this good at all?
Well, I mean they have that. I mean they got a couple of champions on the roster now. Kevin Love's there. He's a champion. Kyle Lowry's but it doesn't. But he brings that mentality that with other younger players look to guys like that have. There's a winner's mentality, and Kyle Lowry, another one who, won a championship. He's an important piece on there. And Jimmy Butler is a guy who's a superstar, but because before he got there, he kind of bounced around. He seemed like he was a journeyman when really he was just looking for the right fit, and he has it there. And it's just me, but it doesn't ever look like he's working hard. He just looks like he's smooth out there. He just looks like he's out there just kind of doing his thing. He doesn't look like he's exerting a lot of energy when he's absolutely is.
It's one of those things. He's not flashy, but he'll put 50 on you in a heartbeat. It's like,
and you know why I like him.
You're like, talking about the mid range. He ain't shooting a whole bunch of 3-pointers.
That's it, baby. That's it. He doesn't rely on the three. He'll take it. He'll pull it up. He'll just pull up and shoot one in your face, mid-range number. I love that kind of game. He'll take it to the rack. When teams fall in love with the three, that can be the demise. And I think maybe at this point, you can't really put your finger on Jason Tatum because he could be the guy who looks terrible or the guy where you fall in love when you see him go get 51 against Philly to close on. He gets 51 points. You're like, this dude is on track now. The Celtics, they have unfinished business. They're going to be tonight. And then he goes away again. He's too unpredictable. And this seems to be happening with him. And it's been several years now with him and Brown together there. And they don't seem to, be taking the next step. I mean, we could be wrong. What if they come back and win 4 in a row? What if they do?
That's not happening.
Well,
that's not happening. I honestly believe right now, tonight, as we're recording, they're going to end it in Miami. It's going to be 2 sweeps, and then we're not going to get any basketball until June 1st. We're going to have a whole week without basketball.
And then I can go ahead and get some sleep from now on.
Yeah, you can get some sleep.
I'm not staying up to watch the Nuggets and Heat play. I wanted Lakers Celtics. I ain't staying up to watch. I'm going to stay up for Nuggets Heat. See, I'm already.
That's terrible. That is terrible. We are a sports podcast, and just because you don't have the flashy teams.
I gotta get up at 5:30. I gotta get up at 5:30. I don't want to stay and watch Aaron Gordon play. Sorry.
Hey man, it is what it is. So they were talking about LeBron was like, well, I don't know if I want to play with Bronny. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what we want to do. And I had a feeling that the talking heads in the major networks, they were going to make a big story out of LeBron and his team who lost instead of the rightful winners, Jokic, Gordon, Murray, and the Denver Nuggets. So fellas, you think LeBron just says F it, or does he come back for year number 21?
LeBron's coming back.
He's coming back.
He's coming back. This is clearly. I don't care who you are, what you are. You're still human, and the amount of emotion. This is an emotional toll on LeBron James. Like at the end of the day, he wants that 5th championship. He knows that time is almost up for that. And so right now, he's in his mind. He was like, "This is probably the closest he's going to get." I don't see like right now get 2 players that are going to get paid next year. Then that depends on where they're going. Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves are going to get a payday. Somebody's going to pay them, and they're well deservedly so. Now I can almost guarantee you that them on other teams may not be the best fit. They fit what the Lakers are doing, but at the same note, I don't know.
I think Reeves. I think the Lakers have a right to match his offer.
Yeah,
I think he might be restricted. I'm not 100%. I haven't heard all this yet, but they're going to have to pay him just because he was their legitimate 3-point shooter. He was it.
He was the third option.
And they need and Hachimura to me at times. He looks so athletic and creative with the ball. I think you got to get him back because he's young too. That was the key. That I'm not. He might still be under contract. I'm not sure if he's coming up or not. But you got to keep him. You got to keep those 2 because those guys developed at the most important time of the year, right through the playoff stretch. Those guys are good. And my biggest fear. I just hope that what everybody's talking about doesn't come true, and they let those guys walk so that the guy that was sitting courtside hugging LeBron pregame last night doesn't come marching to the door. I'm talking about Kyrie Irving.
Yep.
Now, there's also talk that Trae Young could be a trade possibility. And I don't think Trae Young's the kind of guy that can carry a franchise, but he is the kind of guy that can hit some threes, and the Lakers actually desperately needed that. So he may actually be a fit there as well. I don't know. There's going to be a lot to be settled. I agree with you, though. I think LeBron's coming back. During these times, you're tired, you're sore, your pride's hurt, you're exhausted. And I think he gave everything he had to give.
47 minutes, 56 seconds.
And that's a situation too. He has to come out of the game. And I can't believe that Darvin Ham said, "LeBron, I'm playing you all the way." I got to believe at some point he said, "You need a breather? Can I get you out of there?" And LeBron said, "No, I'm emptying the tank tonight. We're not going to go out like this and getting swept. I'm giving everything." And I think that backfired because in the 3rd quarter, he needed to sit a little bit. Yep. And the other stud didn't come through. Anthony Davis didn't come through. He did in a big way in game 1, but then the rest of the way, that's a problem for the Lakers as well.
Here's the one thing I'm going to say, and people they won't agree with me when I say this. Anthony Davis is top 5 in the league when the offense runs through him. When Anthony Davis is not the focal point, and you saw that. Game 4, you saw where he was Anthony Davis is not a
You see it every other game with him.
Yep. But the thing about this is that with game 4 in particular, when LeBron James said, "You know what, I'm just going to put this team on my back," which he didn't have to. He felt the need to, but he didn't have to. And got in his own head that, they're up by 15 because I scored 31 points. And it seemed like it worked until it didn't because he fizzled. And I'm gonna talk a little bit more about LeBron James a little bit later. But you can't ask for somebody. I don't care who you are, what type of diet you're on. If you have $1 million that you spend a week on a dietitian, I don't care. Whatever he does with his body is whatever. You can't ask a 38-year-old. You really can't ask anybody to play 48 minutes of NBA basketball. That's just unheard of. It's unheard of. And for all the naysayers, all the LeBron haters out there, I'm saying this: you can't ask anybody to do that.
Yeah. I've never been a LeBron lover. I've mentioned this many times. He's never been my favorite guy. I've always said the good and bad with him. He just has never been my favorite. But man, every time the guy loses, do we have to rehash that he's not Michael Jordan? I mean, that's his biggest sin as a basketball player, is not being Michael Jordan. I always hear, oh, Jordan would never have done. Jordan actually missed a couple shots. I think people forget. They think he was the only guy ever played that never missed any shots and never lost any games.
Got swept first 8 years in the league, didn't make the playoffs, or got swept in the first round.
Walked away from the game for 2 years. I mean,
yeah, it's the comparisons I think are ridiculous. Kareem's still my GOAT. I don't care what anybody says. I'm gonna say that loud and proud because nobody's dominated the game on both levels, college and pro, like Kareem has. Period. And if you want to throw age and longevity in there, Kareem was winning championships and MVPs at 41. And that was with 3 years of college. So I could have that argument with anybody that wants to step up to the plate. Been doing that on social media because I had time today. But I'm gonna leave that alone. But just LeBron at the end of the day, he's gonna take a few weeks, go rest, go chill with his family, et cetera, et cetera. He's gonna come back. He's eventually probably gonna end up playing with his son. What he essentially wants to do, which I don't know if that's going to be good or bad for his son, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. But LeBron James, he
might. I think he has. I'm sorry, but I think he has 2 years left on his contract, and the second is a player option.
Yep.
So yeah, he it's possible he could. I mean, I don't know if his son's good enough to be a one and done college player and then gets drafted, and then he opts out at the same time and they play a year together. Who knows? I mean,
story.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron could go out next year and tear his Achilles in game one, and then this is all all speculation that's moot. So, but I do think he's going to come back. I don't think, to me, he doesn't. He looked a little bit tired and he looked a little bit old in some of these games, but he didn't look to me like a player who was at the end of his career. He didn't look like that guy to me.
No, not even close.
No, he didn't. He's not done yet, man. He takes great care of himself. If he gets some rest, relaxation, take a couple of weeks off, join his family, and pretty soon we'll be seeing those workout videos all over again. Well, while I was at work trying to make some money to make sure that I thrive and stay alive, you two were blowing a group chat up about the PGA Championship and the LIVs and Brooks Koepka. Can you fill me on what the hell happened this past weekend?
Well, I'm gonna say this because I gotta stay true to my argument. Because me and Scottie D been fighting about this whole point because he likes to see interesting rather than good.
No, I don't.
Yes, that's what you just said just now. You're not staying up to watch the Nuggets in the Heat, and then you rather see the Lakers and the Celtics. In.
I would.
That. That's exactly exactly.
But it would only happen if the Lakers were good enough to do it. I wanted to see good and interesting. That's what.
Well, good and interesting. Well, I'm going to stay true to what I've been saying. Brooks Koepka had an amazing performance. I believe he went 66, 66, 67 or something similar in the last 3 rounds, and made a emphatic statement for the LIV Golf Tour. You could hear it in the crowd when he was coming up to 18 because it wasn't all cheers in the stands. It was a lot of groan. He made it through with Brooks Koepka from the LIV Golf Tour takes the PGA Championship, and it was a beautiful thing. Day 4 of major championships. It's a wonderful thing to watch. I on the edge of my seat almost every major championship that I've watched. People may not like golf, don't care. It's a beautiful thing to see. And Scottie D, I will allow you to elaborate on the most exciting thing you saw on day 4 of the PGA Golf Tour, because that's your interesting piece of it. I was excited too.
There was something really interesting happen. But look, just to say this though, it's Brooks Koepka didn't make a statement for LIV Golf. This dude won 3 PGA championships. The first 2, he was a PGA Tour player. It's not like he just came out of nowhere and represent LIV Golf. I even asked him after the tournament, "Is this a statement for LIV Golf?" He's like, "I don't even care about that right now. I care about me." So that just shows you where his mindset is. He's a sniper. And the last couple of years, Brooks Koepka has not been healthy. So this was a statement that, when Koepka is right, he is as good as anyone in the world. He is up there with the John Rahms, Justin Thomases, Scottie Schefflers. He's right there. And unfortunately, now he's going back to the sideshow. He's going back to the circus while the rest of the PGA carries on. That's true. He's going to be on the CW where they don't show the end of tournaments while I'm going to be watching the next PGA event. I mean, that's true. And I used to always like Brooks Koepka. But Sunday, I was rooting for Victor Hovland. I wanted to see that. And it was a very exciting final day. As you said, the Masters this year wasn't so good. If you remember, John Rahm just kind of walked away from that. And it looked like Koepka was going to do that early. He jumped out to like a 4-shot lead or a 3-shot lead early. Like he birdied, I think, holes 2, 3, and 4 and put a cushion up there. And Scottie Scheffler from nowhere, not even having his name on the bottom of the screen, started climbing up. He had a bad first couple of days. And made it back up there. Now I forget what I was getting ready to say. What did you ask me, Eddy? Cool.
I got you. The highlight of the week, the highlight of the weekend, of course, is Michael Block.
Yes,
dude, a PGA Club Pro. He's
I got goosebumps talking about
it. He doesn't even tour with the PGA. I think they said that he has to do 2,000 classes just to equate to what he won by time for 15th at the PGA Championship. And of course, the shot of the millennium was the slam dunk Kobe shot at 15, hole in one that hit nothing but the side of the hole. It didn't hit the flagstaff. It put a dent in the side of the hole. They had to repair the hole. That's how crisp, seeing that, I jumped out of my seat. I was like, that didn't touch anything.
Yeah.
That didn't touch
because when you watch these tournaments and they go from golfer to golfer to golfer to player to player to player, it's not often that you're watching that happen live. Usually somebody gets a hole in one, someone like, we're going to take you over to 14 and watch what happens here. But that one was on live. I was like, did that just happen? Am I watching that live? And it was amazing because then Rory's hugging him and he doesn't even know he's got it in the cup. He just knows he hit a marvelous shot because the crowd went bonkers and they were going crazy for this dude for 4 days up there. And that made it really cool. He's like, Rory, is that in? I mean, that was awesome. That was super, super cool. And there's no way you can have a more perfect shot than that. Like you said, it was a dunk. It right in. It didn't hit the water and bounce up and roll up. It didn't spin.
Hit the side of the hole.
Right in it.
I don't think you understand. You can't go straight in the hole because that's physics. It's not. It literally it did not hit the green at all. It put a dent in the side of the hole.
Right in it.
And just to summarize real quick, that shot and it's tied for 15th, now has him in the PGA Championship next year. He qualified for that. And now he's already got 2 sponsorship exemptions for the next 2 golf tournaments. Dude, it is Michael Block. He is a household name.
Dream weekend.
Blank. Tears and cutting onions and all of that. Just if you missed it, you absolutely missed it. It's unreal. Love it. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Michael Block is on the map, and Brooks Koepka is like, ha, I'm healthy and I'm back. Well, fellas, looking at my phone because I got it on a cool stand here. Guess what time it is?
What time is it? What's happening? What's going on?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. It's time for our favorite portion of the show. It is the choices of the voices. With that being said, hey, yo, button, hit it. Choices of the voices coming at you right here on the Sports Bros Podcast.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Once again, thank you to the wonderful land. Scottie D, watch your ears. I'm going to lean back for this one. So loaded, Miss Button, for introducing our favorite portion of the show, the choices of the voices. We ask y'all a question on social media, y'all give us the answers, and we read it to you right back here on the Sports Bros Podcast. Also, Keep on sending them voice messages because we want to play them right here on the Sports Bros podcast. You can send them to me, Scotty, or LIV. Either way, I'm going to get them and put them on here. With that being said, Scotty D, what's the question for this week's Choices of the Voices?
All right. It ended up going pretty one-directional for the most part here, but I asked, in a game of one-on-one, who do you think would win in their prime? Kobe Bryant in his prime versus LeBron James in his prime. And I also wanted to apologize because this is off topic, but as a fan of the Pittsburgh Penguins, had the Penguins won their last couple of games, they would have eliminated the Florida Panthers from being in the playoffs. And that didn't happen. And now the Panthers are close to winning the Stanley Cup. So apologies to everyone on behalf of the city of Pittsburgh that the Penguins didn't. Anyway, that has nothing to do with anything.
There's a lot to do with some things.
Well, Trey Duke, our first entrant, let's go ahead and cruise past this one because I'm trying not to cuss this episode, all right? I'm trying my best not to be wordy McDirty, okay? So here we go. All right, Trey, this one says LeBron would absolutely destroy Kobe. He was just as quick as he is in his prime, way stronger, bigger, and has a higher basketball IQ. I think Kobe's a top 5 player, but he would not be able to get up where LeBron can. He would lose 21-13 in a game of 21. LeBron would also post him up over nothing. LeBron would post him up, and Kobe would be able to do nothing about it. It would be easy layups, dunks over and over. Kobe would be shooting jumpers most of the time. Almost every rebound would go to LeBron. Also, if you put LeBron and Kobe up against Dak Prescott in a football throwing competition, Dak would finish 4th place. I hate Dak's father. I knew it was too damn good to be true. It is funny, Scott. You laugh at this. This is funny.
Well, the first sign of lack of sports IQ is him questioning Kobe's basketball IQ, because there wasn't many that had a more thought out plan from practice to game than Kobe Bryant. It doesn't always necessarily translate onto the court, but that dude had an incredible basketball IQ. So I don't think Trey ever watched basketball back then. So anyway, what did Rodney O'Neal Bellamy have to say?
All right, so Hot Rod Ronnie Bellamy, he said LeBron is a better teammate, but one-on-one, Kobe has the ISO skill set and is the better shooter. LeBron's defensive motor doesn't come close to Kobe's either. Kobe is going to make you fight for everything. LeBron can't get sloppy in transition also, so it's going to be Kobe Bryant for Rodney Bellamy. All right, so that's one for Kobe and one for LeBron. So one-on-one. Matty Ice, what?
I was going to say, don't keep count because we read these. So it's a lot of Kobe, very little LeBron. Okay. But we want to give everybody that submitted an answer, give them their time. This is their platform.
Yeah, we're claiming their time and they're getting. Matty Ice Martin Tracy said Kobe is an assassin and not LeBron is not. All right,
LeBron
or L.A. Bron.
Yeah. L.A. Bron. Yeah. That was going perfect out there. Anyways, shout out to LA Knight for being on the big stage and making things happen. All right, we got Tom winner chicken dinner. Tom Win. He says, so you're asking who is number 2 and who is number 3.
Yeah, he was misread. I wasn't asking to rank the greatest basketball players, which he's obviously also alluding to Michael Jordan, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And he actually didn't give us an answer. He just had the one who scores more points. So penalty box for Tom Win. Next.
He said penalty box, no airtime. This is hilarious.
That's the reason why I put it on there, because Scottie D said no airtime, and I like to go against what Scottie D says. So that's why I put it up.
Penalty box, no airtime. That's funny.
He's still in the penalty box, but just to spite Scottie D, I put his answer there.
Fair enough.
All right, here we go. We got terrible Pete Talansky. No time, no see, brother. How you been, man? He says, baby Bron would flop over and over again with not being touched, causing Kobe to foul out. Kobe wins every time. He is 10 times better than King Flop is. Wow, call him the flopping king.
Okay.
All right, John Wasiek or Wasiek, right? Wazik, all the way the hell off. John Wasiek says, I go with Kobe. His tank has more gas in it. I think it's close due to LeBron James' ability to post up a smaller Kobe Bryant. 250 versus 215, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. All right, so moving right along, we got Brian Lovell. He says Kobe would dog him. Kobe was faster and overall more athletic. He beat him to the hole, beat him with his outside game, and his overall defense was better. All right. William Shepard says Kobe. Tyrell Jackson says Kobe, and it's not even up for debate. Daniel Williams says Kobe. Guess what Stan Sagley said? Kobe. Marcus James, he says, I've been saying for a while that Bron isn't better than Kobe, let alone Jordan. Kobe had that killer instinct, that extra something that Bron just doesn't have. All right, moving right along. Brenda Johnson, she said, Kobe. All right, Kelly White says LeBron and Kobe. Kelly, why you do that for? Damn, Kelly.
That's why I put it in there. She ain't right. No. She is not right. That's my homegirl, and I appreciate her support and everything. She's my fellow karaoke queen up here in Fayetteville, but she is a mess.
Damn, Kelly.
Her karaoke moniker is the shit show, and that's I kid you not. And but yeah, she's been doing it for 7 years here in Fayetteville. She's one of the best to do it, and her personality is exactly that. She ain't right. She goes in the penalty box, but she did have a legit answer at the end.
Yeah, she said, what did she say?
She said Kobe, I believe.
Yeah. She said, wait a minute. She said, Kobe, do I not see it, LeBron?
However, at their prime, Kobe, hands down, without question.
Okay, I got you. All right. Jose Zirani. No, Izere. I should have never tried it. What's up, Jose? All right. Jose said, if it's 21, then it's Kobe. If it's 10, it's LeBron. He's just too big. One-on-one is personal. I think Kobe is a better all-around, all-day, but LeBron ain't no slouch. He's going to back Kobe down all day, plus be good for a pull-up jumper or two. Okay.
So he says if the game is longer, Kobe would have the advantage. But if it's a short game, LeBron has the power to. So that was a well-informed answer, and I must give Jose his props on that. That's my dude representing the ILM Wilmington by way of Fayetteville. Yes, sir.
All right. So Jeffrey Lewis, he says, guess I'm with Jose. They play different positions, and I don't know if we can compare the two alike. Kobe must be faster, weighing 40 pounds less, outpacing LeBron. So in a foot race, it sounds like Kobe will beat LeBron. That's what he's saying. Yeah.
Well, again, he's also saying a longer game, Kobe has the advantage.
Yep. Shout out, let's see, Thomas Hovis. Shout out to my man Thomas Hovis. Him and his wife just celebrated a wedding anniversary. I forgot the number. I saw it on social media. So congratulations to you, Hovis, man. We miss you up here. All right, I'm taking LBJ respectfully because he's from Cleveland. All right. And I love Kobe, definitely one of the greats, but prime LeBron James was too big, strong, and fast. Miami Heat LeBron would definitely be too much for a prime Kobe. He was damn near 280 pounds at 6'8" tall, jumping out the building, just plain scary. So, yeah, it's hard to argue that one. Yep. Randy Martin, he says, Mamba mentality, not to mention he always strapped up broad. All right. Jeffrey Bezin, aka Jeffrey Caesar, he says, Kobe. Tim Livingston says it depends on the team. I have never seen a basketball team with one player. And
allow me to answer that because Tim get on my nerves. He is the biggest LeBron fan ever.
LeBron.
God Almighty, gets on my nerves. So he goes in the penalty box for lack of reading. He said one-on-one. Scottie D said one-on-one. Just prime Kobe versus prime LeBron. That's it. That's the only two people on the court.
1v1.
Yeah. And it can happen because it happens in driveways all the time. It happens in empty gyms all the time. Heck, Dr. J once played Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in a one-on-one game. It didn't go very well, but it was done. They did it. I think both guys were like old and retired at the time, but it was.
Yeah.
And I think Kareem busted him up because he just shot hooks over him. Anyway, that's what this is. We're not asking who the best team player is. It's one-on-one who would win.
This was his opportunity. We gave him an opportunity to put all of his LeBron love right here on the podcast, and you failed miserably. Penalty box. God, I gave you an opportunity. As much love as you give. Eddie Kool.
I think it was almost intentional, if you ask me. All right, we got Chris St. Andrews. He says one-on-one is such a crazy concept to discuss in basketball, in my opinion. I truly believe some of the best one-on-one or ISO players may not always be in the discussion for the greatest of all time debate. I personally believe Carmelo Anthony was the greatest ISO player I've ever seen. He could score from every level, post up, dribble, etc. You name it, he was getting buckets. So I think he replied, B-Live. This is a reply where it says Kobe in a one-on-one game to 16 straight up all day.
Well, that was the last part of his dissertation that he wrote because I put hashtag TLDR, too long, didn't read. No, it was a very well informed. We just don't have time for all of that. I did want to include the fact that he gave props to the newly retired Carmelo Anthony. So I definitely wanted to leave that in there. Because
and that's a good point. I mean, that he made a good point. Like Allen Iverson would have been another one that was like an incredible ISO player.
Yeah. He actually mentioned Allen Iverson in part of that dissertation, but we ain't got time for all of that. All right, yes sir.
All right, rounding out this bunch here, we got Sean Cannon. I had to do that. Sean Cannon says Kobe had more in his bag. Moves you couldn't defend, and it says see more.
Oh, that was my fault because I didn't copy the rest. So people get to typing, and I have to press see more to get the other part. But he'll be all right. He basically said Kobe. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
Yeah, but that's good though. Moves that you couldn't defend. That was part of Kobe's game.
Kobe had more in his bag. Moves that you couldn't defend. LeBron would probably make it close by posting up. That was the last part of it.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. And last but not least, Lucas, Kobe, without a question or a doubt. So shout out to everybody. 2 minutes to name. Shout out for all y'all for this week's participation in the choices of the voices. Scottie D, 1-on-1, 1v1. LeBron, Kobe, who you got?
Kobe.
Simple.
Yeah, well, I mean, some of the player or some of the things that was mentioned were great points. If they played 1-1, LeBron would have to post up just to use his weight. I mean, I think he was 6'9" and Kobe was 6'8", so there's not really a height advantage there. And as far as a speed thing, Kobe was pretty quick on his feet, and he was an incredibly skilled defender. Kobe was a really good defensive player, but Kobe has better shot making ability. And you know what? A good example is what happened in the game last night that we were talking about. With the last 4 seconds, LeBron gets the ball in the wing, he drives. Jamal Murray was waiting for that move. He almost cut him off at the pass and was able to stop the ball without fouling him. There was no foul in that play. It was a good, clean play. But he knew that was going to have to be his move because if LeBron shoots a jumper, the game is over. Whereas Kobe in that situation can probably get off a pretty decent mid-range jump shot right there. And if they played 1-on-1, Kobe would have the ability to do that. I just think his skill set would be better suited if they played each other 1-on-1. Again, LeBron would probably be able to score on him, backing him down and do a little bit post moves. But LeBron would try to do fadeaway jumpers, and he clanks them around a good bit of the times. I'm taking Kobe all day, B-Live.
As I mentioned earlier in the podcast, I was going to talk a little bit more about LeBron James. And because I want to take this little bit of time for all the people that I've been debating, talking, arguing, et cetera, when it comes to the greatness of LeBron James and why he will never be my GOAT. And I don't hate LeBron James. I hate his fans. Let's get that perfectly clear. LeBron James is one of the greatest to have ever played the game, basketball IQ, et cetera. So he's definitely in my top 5 of players all time. LeBron James is absolutely great. Longevity, all of that, everything that he's done, he is absolutely great. People say that the killer mentality just isn't there. I think his IQ of the game almost was as a detriment because he wanted to involve other people as opposed to taking it all on his own mantle. And it's been successful. He has 4 championships. There's been some that he's lost. Quite a few he's lost to just better teams. So I wanted to give that props out to LeBron James. Now, when it comes to this one-on-one matchup between him and Kobe, I said it before earlier as well. I like going against the grain. Everybody's saying Kobe Bryant. We've never asked LeBron James to play one-on-one or ISO. So we don't exactly and I want to say if LeBron James, and I'm talking about prime LeBron James, and I want to give a shout out to Thomas Hove, because I think he had the best answer out there. Miami Heat LeBron was a different animal. And his speed, plus the fact he's 3 inches taller than Kobe. Kobe is 6'6", LeBron is 6'9". I think at the end of the day, when you weigh down on a player, that causes more exhaustion than anything else. Playing against a bigger player that's leaning up on you, posting on you, he's going to out-rebound them any day of the week, twice on Sunday. And the thing about it is, Kobe might have more ball handling skills, and ISO may be a little bit on Kobe, but LeBron will close in on you. You think Kobe might drive past you a couple of times, but LeBron will close that gap in an instant, in a heartbeat.
LeBron, and that's when Kobe pulls up and shoots that little mid-range on him.
I think, and I've seen LeBron block that out of the building as well.
Wow, if you can't get near it.
I'm picking LeBron James to win a one-on-one matchup against Kobe. I don't think it's an endurance thing. I think that LeBron James is just simply longer. I think he will defend the shot. I think he will defend the drive. I think he will out-rebound Kobe. And Kobe, here's the one thing that I've always had as a detriment to Kobe Bryant's game is he is a volume shooter. He will score 40, 50, 60 points on you because he takes 40, 50, 60 shots.
Well, in a game of one-on-one, he has to take every shot. So that's right up his alley.
Well, here's the thing. LeBron James is way more efficient. LeBron James has a much better field goal percentage than Kobe
because
Bryant.
He's in the open floor on fast breaks and finishing. There are no fast break in one-on-one.
LeBron James will be shooting from 5 feet away, while Kobe Bryant's going to be trying to shoot fadeaways. And yes, he makes some of them, but stat-wise alone, LeBron James is just way more efficient. I think that comes into play in a 1v1 matchup.
Your streak of me telling you good job, you're right, has just come to an end at 1.
I knew that. I ain't got no problem with that. I knew this was going to come to a head. I ain't got no problem with that. I knew exactly what I was going to say when I was going to say it. So LeBron James, everybody else that said Kobe, this is not disrespect to Kobe Bryant whatsoever. We are allowed to have different opinions. People, for the love of God, you're allowed to. We're allowed to think differently. That doesn't mean I dislike Kobe Bryant. That doesn't mean I'm disrespecting Kobe Bryant. I'm just saying what I think and I feel. LeBron James would beat Kobe Bryant 1v1. There it is.
Eddy break the tie.
I could, and he's been failing at that too, because both of y'all picked the Lakers to win this series, and y'all were wrong. Break the tie, Eddy Kool.
Break the tie, Eddy Kool.
All right, so I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. When Kobe Bryant first came into the league in the first handful of years that he played, I didn't see what was so damn special about him until Shaq came along.
Don't do that.
And everything. What? I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real. All you Kobe haters, I'm gonna be real. I didn't see what's so special about him because he would just put the ball up and shoot it.
You know who also didn't see much special about Kobe Bryant? The Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah.
That's why when you said that, I was hurt immediately. Immediately. Vlade Divac, we traded Kobe Bryant for Vlade Divac?
Vlade D vodkas and a pack of Pall Mall cigarettes because Vlade smoked like a chimney. Anyways, I didn't see what a big hubbub was about Kobe, but over time, Kobe worked in this game, got himself together, and showed us why he's one of the best to ever do it. As far as like the greatest of all times, I don't get caught up in that debate. Before you LeBron haters come at me, I'm not going to talk to you anyway because I don't argue with folks I don't know on social media. And the folks I do know, I'm not going to argue with you any damn way. It's my choice. It's how I feel. Kobe Bryant had that dog, had that killer instinct. I will say that. And the thing about it is, you really don't see too many players now that have that killer instinct. Put the team on my back. I'm going to take over. The closest thing would have to be playoff Jimmy Butler. Yeah. The closest thing. Yeah.
That dude.
Yeah. Himmy blankety effing Butler. Him. So I would have to say Kobe just based off that killer instinct because he's not going to go down, he won't quietly go away. He'll go down fighting. So I'm going to have to say Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bean Bryant. Hey, man, we miss you, bro.
Hey.
Yes.
There is, and here's the beautiful thing about this question. There is no incorrect answer.
No.
There is not one because we won't see it. Both of them are great. Just otherworldly great. Top 5, top 10 all time. It doesn't even matter.
No.
Hall of Fame will be talked about for the rest of history. Ever.
Yeah.
So, flowers, all that.
Yeah, right.
Scottie D, go ahead. Yeah, I was about to take Eddy Kool's spot. Go ahead and
with that, I got you, B-Live. With that being said, Scottie D, what's on tap for next week? B-Live, you need some water, man. What's going on?
We're going to shift to baseball next week and ask you to give us. Well, I mean, yeah, why not?
Oh man, go ahead.
Is that funny? We're shifting to baseball.
Just go ahead, Scottie D.
You're shifting to baseball. This is your segment.
Okay, we won't shift to baseball.
No,
who's going to win between the Florida Panthers and Carolina Hurricanes?
What's the real question?
What's the real question?
You ain't. B-Live, you got to shut up. Your question. It's all your fault.
Well, yeah, you kind of goaded me into that one. All right, so next week we're going to talk baseball and ask you to give us your Mount Rushmore of pitchers that you've seen. So if you weren't allowed to watch Bob Gibson pitch or Sandy Koufax, don't tell us that one. Your Mount Rushmore of Major League Baseball pitchers. That will give us something to think about and something to talk about next week, Eddy. Cool.
Remember Mount Rushmore for those of you that are historically inclined.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro for Espanol, Latino in JR. You on the 4.
Not no 4A and 4B. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't talk about honorable. We ain't got time for all that. Your top 4, all right? Coming right back at you.
We can say honorable mention because it's our show.
Yeah, we good. Rest of y'all got to vibe by the rules. Hey man, that's it. Choice of the voices coming up next. Around the Pepper. Good and tight. We ain't season, but we'll be right back. All right.
Okay, boys, let's bring it home with a round of pepper.
Man, you heard the woman. It's time for us to go home and get the hell up out of here and watch some sports. But before we go, around the pepper, you know how we do it. 3 topics, rapid fire style, kind of, sort of, not really, here to engage, enlighten, educate, and entertain. The 4 E's in no particular order. With that being said, I'll go first. It's going to be history laden, so here we go. On this day in history, back in 1964, the longest home run at the time, 471 feet, in Baltimore Memorial Stadium was hit by Harmon Killebrew of the Minnesota Twins. Hammer and Harmon, busting them out the park. Over to you, Scottie D.
Woo. Okay, so local story here. Recently, let me just give you this. You guys know that I'm a lunch lady, at my school. And when I took this job a couple years ago, I replaced a lady named Doris, the legendary Doris. So I think when Doris, the lunch lady, retired, she didn't sit there and wish ill will on me to not be a good lunch lady replacement. Well, that brings us to my local story. On a recent podcast of Footballing with Big Ben Roethlisberger, he had Kenny Pickett as his guest on the show, and he told him I just wasn't rooting for you. I was kind of rooting against you when you started last year. As the year went on, I started to root for you, but it was just a little bit hard on me at first, because I didn't want to be forgotten and didn't want to be the man. What? You guys weren't even teammates. They didn't draft Kenny Pickett and then force you out the door. You were already out the door, Big Ben. You took your bad elbow and your old guy physique your dad bought, and you headed on out the door, and the Steelers had to draft Kenny Pickett as your replacement. You should be, at that point, showing up at Steeler games, waving the terrible towel and saying, let's go Big Ken. You're the next guy, rooting for Kenny Pickett. But instead, he wished him, Big Ben, come on, be Doris. Be better than that. Be live. To you.
I was very afraid when you mentioned anything about somebody named Doris.
Doris, yeah.
Got a little scared. I
was very nervous. That's a whole other story. But yes, Big Ben, you could, and by the way, you really can't ever call Kenny Pickett Big Ken because them small hands he got. There's a whole other story.
Right.
So, well, my first pepper point, give a shout out to my man Joey Buckets, Joseph Gaffigan, because this is just funny to me. Well, according to the NFL, they had their spring meetings this past week, and instead of voting between the owners to finalize the sale of the Washington Commanders, it is yet still on hold. So at this moment of time, Daniel Snyder is still the owner of the Washington Redskins, no-name football team, Commander Piglets. And I'm going to speculate this is probably because Daniel Snyder doesn't want everything to come out of the woodworks. Daniel Snyder actually asked the NFL to delay the sale because of the still impending sexual harassment investigation that's still going on, because that would have to come out during the sale and that would be made more public. Eddy, Kool, the ball.
Daniel Snyder, tick-tock, you're running out of time, bro. You better figure something out sooner rather than later, all right?
When the NFL meets again, it'll be during the summer, but it's still, as of right now, Daniel Snyder is still the owner of the
Oh boy.
Lord, here we go. Just holding on. All right, on this day in history, back in 1967, the AFL grants the city of Cincinnati a franchise, a team, if you will, known as the Cincinnati Bengals, who's had a few Super Bowl appearances, a very dark time in professional football. Think of Keely Smith, Kajana Carter, Carl Pickens, Chad Ochocinco, Rudy Johnson, Samaje P. Ryan, Joe Mixon-Dixon, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow. So happy birthday to the Cincinnati Bengals. On this day in history, Cincinnati got a football team. So shout out to the Bengals. Over to you, Scottie D.
You started for a second there to remind me of Bubba Gump. Shrimp cocktail, fried shrimp, coconut shrimp,
Bengal tiger, Bengal bone cream,
Samaje P. Ryan, TJ Hushmanzada,
Hayden Hurst, Tyler Eifert. Who got some grits? Over to you, Scottie D.
All right, I'm going to stick on this NFL topic. So, as everyone knows, last week, the late, great Jim Brown passed away. Jim Brown, many consider to be the greatest football player overall of all time. He's one of those guys that people say could play in any era. He was a big running back then, run over guys. They say today he would still be equally as vicious and difficult. And he, no doubt, he only I think he played 9 years in the NFL.
Yep, 9 years.
Well, upon his passing, Colts owner Jim Irsay said that was the greatest of all time. He's my number one. Here's my top 5. And he listed, I believe, Deacon Jones and was it Lawrence Taylor or Reggie White, and 2 quarterbacks, Tom Brady and John Elway.
Wow.
He then retweeted later, had to do some rethinking on that, and Jerry Rice is like number 5, and Jim Brown's still number 1, and I got a tie with Brady and Peyton Manning. How did you not think of that one up? How did you not come up with that one? When it comes to batshit crazy owners, Jerry Jones pretty much has the cake, but Jim Irsay is definitely trying to get a slice. Because why would you even put that out there? That's like a backhanded slap at Peyton Manning and then to like back off and be like, oh yeah, Peyton Manning, and then he like did another tweet to like sing his praises. Sounds a little bit like Jim Irsay needs to also be like Doris and not wish any ill will on the next guys coming up. How do you leave out Peyton Manning of your all-time five when he brought you a Super Bowl trophy? Anyway, be live.
He was salty about Denver, Peyton Manning. Yeah, that's probably what it was.
Jim Irsay was over there sipping on the bourbon. That's what it was.
Yep, that part. All right. Anthony Richardson's not your problem. All right. My second pepper point. We're going to go to the WNBA, Scott's favorite basketball league. Well, April 10th, the WNBA had their annual draft, and they have 3 rounds, 12 players per round, 12 teams, 36 players. As of May 23rd, 43 days later, 11 of those 36 ladies that were drafted have already been released or waived by the team because the teams don't have room for the new batch of players, which is sparking a huge concern with WNBA expansion.
Wait, what?
Yeah. 11 of the 36 ladies that were drafted have already been waived. And I'm not talking about third rounders. I'm talking about first round picks have been waived by their teams because they don't have roster space. 2 of those from Eddy Kool's favorite school, South Carolina, Bria Beal and Destiny Henderson, got drafted and don't have a job. So
this is some of the dumbest stuff I've ever.
There's even more to the story. I forget which player it was, but basically, one of the supposed to be rookies are basically saying, we need these veterans to let it go, retire, so we can come into the league and make an impact. So Diana Taurasi, the young players are saying, we need you to go ahead and kick rock so we can get in. Yeah. Eddy Kool, the ball. The look on Scott's face is everything.
I'll tell you what. You see, you keep bringing up these second-rate leagues, and it just keeps making my points for me. Thank you.
It's a real problem, though.
Yeah.
It is, but I tell you what, man, Zaya Cook did look good in her Sparks debut with 14 points. Oh, she looks great. Yeah, she looks great. All right, so in this third and final point, on this day in history, back in 1990, we're going back to the ice. The Stanley Cup final in the Boston Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. The Edmonton Oilers beat the Bruins 4-1 to win the series 4-1 and to get their 5th Stanley Cup in 7 years. The Montreal Canadiens will win the Cup in 93. And the Canadian drought continues. Over to you, Scottie D.
The drought continues. It does.
Yeah.
So something happened recently that kind of got on my nerves a little bit, even though it was something that probably would have bothered you guys a little bit more than me. And that was the NBA draft lottery. And the Charlotte was right there in the taking for the guy who's supposed to be the next big thing, and that's at Victor Wembanyama. Wemby's coming to the NBA, and he's going to a team that I was enjoying watch flail around aimlessly, and that is the San Antonio Spurs. As a Laker fan, I cannot stand the Spurs organization. I cannot stand Greg Popovich. And now, because this guy's going down there, boring relevance is back. That's right, boring relevance. Guys, you're still sitting good at the number 2 spot. And what's my man's name? Brandon Miller?
Yeah.
Alabama,
good chance he's a better NBA player than Wemby. I'm not sold on Wemby. I haven't seen him do anything against any other like NBA caliber players. He's just a tall, lanky, I can shoot kind of guy. Yeah, I know he's got skill set, but let's see him bring that to the men of the NBA and see how he fares. In the meantime,
Right
Brandon
up.
Miller. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's a beanpole. And so I think this could be looking back on one of those situations where you might be happy after all. Be live.
All right, third and final.
I just hope him and Chet Holmgren become roommates and eat a bunch of food. Go ahead, be live.
Facts. My third and final pepper point. I'm gonna go ahead and just rest in peace mourning for your old school diehard Oakland Raider fans, because I'm pretty sure your nightmare has come true since the day of the Tuck rule. And now Tom Brady being a part owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Tom Brady owned you back during the Tuck rule, and now actually owns you now.
Wow. That is truth in there.
Woo. Oh, the diehard old school Oakland Raiders fans can't be happy about this at all. There's certain things that you just don't let go. Like, I will never, ever, 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 ever let go. I will never like Adam Vinatieri for the rest of my life. 2003, I don't like Tom Brady for the rest of my life because of 2003. I just won't like it. This ain't gonna happen. But Tom Brady, part owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, and also part owner of the Las Vegas Aces of the WNBA. WNBA, more roster spots. I don't know about expansion, but more roster spots. Get these young ladies in the game. Yes, sir.
Tom, Edward, Patrick, Carmichael, Jabot, Francois, June, Brady. I had to. We pressed against time, but I had to get it. With that being said, this has been another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. And in closing, do something nice for yourself. And if you can, do something nice for someone else. They're greatly appreciated now more than ever. It's a great time to be a blessing, not a burden, because Lord knows we got time for burdens. It's been another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. Thank you for listening. And everybody on YouTube, thank you for watching. Be Live, you know what to do.
Yes, sir.
What does Eddie have to say crazy this week? Nothing much.
Popcorn, shrimp cocktail.
Samaj P. Ryan.
Jumbo shrimp.
John Jeffco.
Just for the record, Trey Turner hit more home runs during the World Baseball Classic than he has all season in Major League Baseball. And yeah.
And Boomer Esiason.
I hate the Phillies.
Jack Thompson.
Ken Anderson.
You'll hear a lot about
it.
The Atlanta Braves next week. Choice of the Voices.
Icky Woods. All right, see y'all next week. Sports Bros Podcast. We're out. We're crazy. We're out. Bye, y'all. Hey, it's Eddie Kool here from the Sports Bros Podcast. Thank you for listening, and as always, continue to follow us on all of our social media platforms. Just click the link in the description box and keep up with the Sports Bros Podcast. And once again, thanks for listening.